welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then welcome. My name is Maddie, and today I'll be doing a book haul. I haven't done a book haul since October, so it's been 3 months? 3 months. Yeah, it's been quite a while. I've been trying not to buy a lot of books lately since, as I've been mentioning for pretty much all my videos recently, I've just been mentioning this every video. It always comes up, but I have moved into an RV, which is a very small space, so I can't keep a lot of things in here. Therefore, I try not to buy too many books nowadays because I just simply do not have room for them. So lately I've been in the mindset that if I'm going to buy a book, it's a book that I will have to read right away. Like, it has to be a book that is completely necessary. I'm not just going to buy a lot of books and have them sit on my shelves I don't have, for months because I just do not have room for them. So I've been only buying priority books that I know I'm going to get to within a few weeks at least. So I can anticipate after this book haul I won't be buying a lot of books anymore, but we'll just see. But to my surprise, I actually have quite a few books to show. I didn't think I had been buying this many books lately, but I actually have a lot. I think I have at least over 20, so this is going to be a big one. Anywho, let's just get started. So the first ones I have here are the first 3 books in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, which I want to get back into. I have read Dark Lover, and the second book, I can't remember which one's the second book. I think it's this one, which is Lover Eternal. I have read these two, but I didn't end up continuing on with the series because in the midst of me starting this series, I was just getting into my really long reading slump, so I just didn't pick up the rest of the books, but I still really want to. But I do need to reread the books that I already read in order to continue on with this series since it's been a while since I've read it. I'm sure I've forgotten some things, so I do plan to reread the first 2 books really soon. And actually, I believe I do already own these books, but they're in California, so I can't get to them. And I got these at half price books, so they were really cheap, so I'm like, I'll just get them anyway. I'll have double copies when I get my California books back someday. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this series again, and we'll just see how it goes. I am also really excited to reread these because I remember really enjoying them. The next book I have already read, which I will say a lot of the books in this book haul I have already read, which is awesome. I'm really glad that I'm not just buying books and having them sit on my shelves for months, because that's always a good thing to get through the books right away. And that's the case with this one, and it was also a reread, and that is Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. So I got this book because I don't own it, and it's one of my favorite books of all time, so I knew I just had to own it. And when I got it again, I decided to reread it, and it hit me in the feels so hard, just like it did the first time I read it. Oh my god, this book is so emotional and a really interesting read because it does follow a romance between a brother and a sister, which of course is very taboo. But I will say that this book handles the taboo aspect of this relationship really well, and the romance between these two are written in a way that will really make you feel for their romance, which is crazy, but you just have to read it in order to see what I mean. I would highly recommend it. I remember the first time I read this, it completely destroyed me, and it destroyed me the second time I read it. The ending will just completely wreck you, but it is so good. And I was really glad to reread it again, but I'm not sure if I could handle reading it a third time because it left me in such a deep depression for a while. It's just way too sad, but so good. And then all these books are part of a series, and that is the 𝑏𝑟𝑢𝑖𝑡 series by Elle Kennedy, and also The Legacy, which is the last book in the Off-Campus series. So I have read all of these. I have finished off both the Off-Campus series and the 𝑏𝑟𝑢𝑖𝑡 series, and I specifically really enjoyed the 𝑏𝑟𝑢𝑖𝑡 series. I have talked so much about both of these series, so I'm not going to talk about it much more here, but I will say if you are looking for a new adult series, the Off-Campus series and the 𝑏𝑟𝑢𝑖𝑡 series are both really good. The 𝑏𝑟𝑢𝑖𝑡 series is a spin-off of the Off-Campus series, so I would recommend to read the Off-Campus series first before getting into 𝑏𝑟𝑢𝑖𝑡. They are very raunchy since they are a new adult contemporary romance series. A lot of new adult series can fall into the raunchy side with their characters, but they're also so funny, so fun, and the romances are all just to die for. I felt for every single one of these romances. And if you want to know more about my thoughts on them, just watch my past wrap-ups because I go on and on about these books in there. And next I got a ton of Colleen Hoover books. I didn't realize until I was putting this haul together how many Colleen Hoover books I got. But I mean, she's one of my favorite authors, so I only have to own a lot of her books. So I'll go through each one at a time. The first one is Reminders of Him, which is her most recent release that I am so excited to read. I have not read it yet, but I do plan to pick it up this month because I need to read it right away since it's her newest release. And I've heard pretty good things about it, so I have high hopes that it's going to be great. And the next one is 𝑙𝑙. So this one is a paranormal, which I have never read a paranormal from Colleen Hoover, and I believe this is her only paranormal book she's written so far, so I'm really interested in how she tackles the genre. I will say I haven't heard a lot of great things about 𝑙𝑙. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, so I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm still really interested to try it out. Then I have Regretting You, which in all honesty, I haven't heard a lot about reviews wise. I feel like this one isn't talked about a lot, so I'm still kind of like on the fence of exactly what this one is going to entail. I know that it does follow a mother and a daughter and their relationship plus their individual romances. That's all I know about it. So the concept of it sounds pretty interesting, so we'll see how it goes. And then I have Confess, which I have read before but I don't own, so I thought it would be nice to own it, and I do actually want to reread it again really soon since I haven't read it in a really long time, and I'm interested to see what my thoughts on it are now that some years have passed since I've read it. I remember it not being my favorite Colleen Hoover book, but it was still really good, and I'm excited to reread it again. And then I have Ugly Love, which I have read, and this was the very first Colleen Hoover book that I read, and I highly enjoyed it. Still 7 years after first reading this book, I still think about this book. Like, this one has really stuck to me, and I've only ever read it once, which is crazy. I did put it on my TBR for this month because I have been dying to reread it again, just to see what my thoughts will be on it upon reread and see if I feel the same, but I feel like I will feel the same about it because this book has still stuck with me. So we'll just see. I think this will be one of the most interesting rereads I have ever done. And this one I have read, and that is November 9. I adored this book so much. I still think about this book. This one is really going to stick with me. I did do an entire reading vlog on my thoughts while reading this book. If you want to check that out, I'll leave it linked in the cards. But you'll see in that reading vlog how much I enjoyed this. This book was so emotional. The romance was beautiful. I just really adored it. And I will definitely be rereading this one. I would love to read this one every November 9th since I did read this book on November 9th and that was a really cool experience. So I have a feeling this is going to be a tradition to read it every November 9th. I think that's something I'm definitely going to do. And then I have Heartbones, which is another one of hers that I've heard mixed things on. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to feel going into this, but we'll just see how it goes. I really love the cover. It feels very summery, so I wonder if this one is going to be more of a summer read. I might just save this one for summer. Other than that, I don't know much of what it's about, so we'll just see when I get into it. And then this one I have read. This is the last Colleen Hoover book that I've read recently, and that is *Verity*. And this one is a thriller, which thriller is another genre that Colleen doesn't usually write, but man, did she handle the thriller in this book so freaking well. It was so good, so chilling. I was deeply terrified while reading this book because Verity is a very disturbing character. Her thought process really just made my skin crawl. Oh my god. Absolutely love this one. I love the twist in it as well because I did not see it coming. This one I would really recommend if you are into thrillers. It is a good one. For this pile, you can see all the books here. I don't have a lot of places to place my books in this small space, so they're going to be in the background a lot. So these two are other books that I have read. I have realized now that I purchased a lot of books that I have already read before, which is like, why do I do that? Because I should be getting books that I haven't read before, but I love rereading books, if you can't tell already, so I mean that makes sense. And that is Frigid and Scorched by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a new adult companion duology. I almost forgot the word for a duology, which is like, how, why? I don't know. I think I read these, I want to say like 2016, so it's been a while since I've read them, but I would be really interested in rereading them since I remember really loving these. I think both of these were 5-star reads, which isn't That's surprising because I really love Jennifer L. Armentrout, so I am really excited to read these again. I actually don't even remember a lot of what happened in them, so it's going to be a really cool experience rereading them again because of that. And then I have two books by Penelope Douglas. I don't think I mentioned this one in any of my book hauls, so I'm just going to mention it here because I don't remember, and that is Birthday Girl, which is another book that I have read, but I want to read it again. Birthday Girl was a crazy book. It was really taboo because it deals with a girl. She's 19 and she falls for her ex-boyfriend's dad, who I think is like 39. So this one has a huge age gap in it, but I remember really loving the romance. I love the way it unfolded. It was very angsty because of the taboo relationship, which I love the angsty vibes and romances, and this one handled it so well. So I'm really looking forward to rereading it. And then this one I did read, but unfortunately I didn't love it. And that is Bully. So I have talked about my feelings for this one. I talked about it in my December wrap-up. I didn't love it. And I was really disappointed in that because I loved Birthday Girl, so I just assumed that I'm going to love all of Penelope Douglas's books because of that. But this one really fell flat for me. I found from this book that I am not a fan of bully romances, which this one, you can guess based on the title, is about a bully romance. And I just don't understand the concept of a character falling in love with their bully. Why would you fall in love with someone who has harassed you? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't care that he is softening up more. He has abused you in the past. So why? Why would you fall for him? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I had a problem with that in this book. Also, I didn't really love the main character because she was kind of a bully herself. She was very toxic. I did not like her attitude. I did not like the way she shamed other girls at all. She was just very problematic. So didn't love this one. It was like a 3-star read, so I was disappointed in that. Then the next one I have is Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. Back when I was first on BookTube, I heard a lot about this book, but I don't really hear a lot about it anymore, but I'm still interested in reading it because it is a Peter Pan retelling, and I love fairy tale retellings, or retellings in general. So I'm really interested in this book because of that, and this one I believe specifically follows Tiger Lily, which is really cool and really unique in terms of a Peter Pan retelling, since that's a character I've never seen a major focus on before. So I am really looking forward to reading this, and it's pretty short, so yeah, it's pretty short. Like 280 pages. I feel like I could fly through it. So hopefully I'll get to it really soon. I know I said in the beginning of this video I only bought books that I feel like I'm going to get to right away. This one I really did buy on a whim because I didn't buy it with the intention of reading it right away. So hopefully I will get to it soon. And this one I think it was from my November Owl Crate, and that is Jade Fire Gold. So this book was one of the reasons why I decided to cancel my Owl Crate subscription, because when I read the synopsis for this book, it did not sound like something I'd be interested in. This is a YA fantasy, and like I've been saying, I've been just kind of drifting away from YA. I don't read young adult as much as I used to, which was another major factor why I canceled my Owl Crate subscription. But I specifically do not read young adult fantasies. It's very rare that I pick up a young adult fantasy, and this one is a young adult fantasy, and I just feel like because of that I'm not going to read it. I'm still going to hang on to it for a little while because I might change my mind someday, and maybe I'll feel the urge to pick it up, so I'll hang on to it for a few months at least. But in a few months, if I still have not read this, I'm just going to get rid of it, because unfortunately I don't really feel interested in reading this one. It's a beautiful book physically. The Owl Crate exclusive cover is gorgeous, and it has the beautiful colored end pages, which are green, so it's a stunning book, but content-wise, I'm not sure if I'll like this. But we'll see. Maybe I'll at least give it a try, try out the first chapter and see how it goes. And that reminds me, I have another Owl Crate book that I forgot to get out of my car. I have to go get it. Shoot. So this one was from the December Owl Crate, and that is Dreams Lie Beneath by Rebecca Ross. This one I believe is another fantasy, so I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna pick this one up. Because like I said, YA fantasy, I just don't reach for it anymore. I don't remember much of what it's about. It seems like it has kind of a magical aspect to it. So yeah, that's all I know about it, but maybe I will give it a try someday. And after getting this book from my last 𝑘𝑒, I completely just canceled it. And I feel like I would not be opposed to book subscription services, but I just can't do young adult ones because I just don't reach for young adult as much as I used to. But I know there are some adult book subscription services out there that I would be willing to try, so I might try one of those someday. And this next one, this is the book that I never thought I'd read, but I think I'd be interested in trying it out now. That is Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. So this is a paranormal series. I believe it follows angels? I think so. I've heard really mixed reviews on this one. So much so because of that, I felt like, maybe I won't pick this one up because I've heard a lot of negative things. But I feel like if I go into this one with really low expectations, then I'll actually enjoy it pretty well. And I really don't have high hopes for this one based on the reviews, but we'll see how it goes. The next one, another book that I have read before, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. When I first read this book, I fell in love with it. I still think about this book. This one was phenomenal. I would be so happy to reread it again. And I know I'm not the only one with that opinion. So many people have loved this book. I've heard so many people, like, outside of the book community, like celebrities talking about this book and saying how much they enjoyed it. And I love this book enough that I knew that I had to own it. So I'm really excited to read it again now that I do own it. I want to do that within the next couple of months. And these three are part of a series, and that is the Ravenhood series by Kate Stewart. So I have started this series. I have read Flock, which is the first book, and Exodus. I have not read the last book. The reason being is because by the time I tried to read the last book, but I had forgotten everything that happened in the first two books. For some reason. I think I waited way too long to pick up the last book. By the time I tried to read it, I was like, wait, what's happening? I don't remember anything at all. And I was really frustrated with that, because that meant at some point I'm going to have to read the first two books in order to read the last book. I cannot tell you how many times this happens to me, and it's made me realize that I need to binge series. I cannot wait and put off the rest of the books in a series because my memory is that terrible. So I'm going to have to reread the first two books again and then read the last book, which the first two books I did really enjoy. I didn't absolutely love them. They were 4-star reads for me, but I did enjoy them. Okay, actually I think Exodus was a 3 stars, so I don't know how I'm going to feel rereading that one again, but I still will try them out again, and then I'll get to the last book. So I had a really weird experience with this series. And another complete series that I got is the 𝑒lement series by Brittany C. Cherry. The first book being The Air He Breathes. I have read the first book and the second book, which I really enjoyed these. These were both 4-star reads, so they were really good. And so far, this series has been very drama-based and angsty. very angsty, but I absolutely love angst, so I don't mind that at all. And each book can be read as a standalone. They each follow their individual characters and romances, so it is a companion series. And I am really looking forward to reading the last 2 books in the series. I'm going to try to get to both of them this month if I have time. I would really love to do that and just finish this one off. It has been very good so far. Next, this is probably the most recent book I got. It is the most recent book I got, and I've been very excited to read this one, and that is 𝑖's Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. I found this one at Half Price Books, and it's actually a special edition with a beautiful cover. One reason I've been put off from reading these books is that the first edition covers are very, like, cheesy. They just don't look great. I do not like the actual covers at all. they look very tacky, but this illustrated cover looks absolutely gorgeous, and it made me actually want to pick up the book. That's why covers are a huge deal. A cover can really impact someone picking up your book. So please, authors, publishers, give careful thought to the covers, because this is the situation that I had with this book. Was not interested in this one because the covers look terrible, but this special edition cover looks amazing. It made me want to pick it up. So covers are a huge deal, I'm telling you. But I have heard good things about this series. It is a paranormal. It follows a romance between an alien and a human, so I mean, sounds pretty good. I haven't read a lot of books involving aliens, so this one will be pretty unique to me, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm really excited for it. And then I got City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. So this series is still, to this day, very popular. The first book came out years ago. It's a really old series, but it still gets a lot of hype. I put off reading this book because the content of it didn't really interest me. I just wasn't really interested in the whole premise of this book. But I would be willing to try it out now. Just because I'm really curious about it, because it used to be, and it still kind of is, really popular. So I want to know what the hype is all about with this one. But because I feel like it's not a book that I'll absolutely love, my expectations are low going into it. So we'll see how I feel coming out of this one. I'm really, really interested to know how I feel about this one. And then I got All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Brandon Greenwood. So this one I do know is a taboo. I think it involves romance. I think it's a taboo romance involving a girl and a grown man. So I'm kind of nervous going into that because of the content matter of this one. But I have heard pretty good things about it, despite the fact that it is involving a controversial matter. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what I think about it. The good thing is that usually I don't mind controversial books if the subject matter is handled well. So depending on how well the subject and content of this matter is handled, I might enjoy this one. So we'll see how it goes. And then I got Neon Gods by Kate Robert. So this one involves Greek mythology, which I don't read a lot of books involving Greek mythology, but I've always been interested in Greek mythology. So I want to read more books with that kind of subject matter. And I believe this one takes place in a real life setting. It isn't actually about Greek gods, but I think the characters that are in this real world embody the Greek gods, so it's kind of like a retelling thing. That's kind of all I know about it, and I'm not sure if I'm completely right about that. So when I read it, we'll just see what it's actually about. And the last books I'm going to share are a part of a series. They are a trilogy. That is the 50 Shades Trilogy. So if you saw my January wrap-up, you will saw that I read 50 Shades of Grey. And I surprisingly enjoyed it. I did not expect to like this book based off of all of the controversy surrounding this one and how many negative reviews there are of this one, but I actually enjoyed it, and I did not expect that. So based on that, I do want to read the second and third book in this series, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm really, really excited because I really enjoyed the first book. Did not expect to. And that is it. That is all the books that I have gotten recently. And like I said, I don't expect to haul many more books because I'm trying not to buy books anymore because I don't have any space for any more books. But I am looking forward to reading all the books from this haul that I haven't read yet, and I'll let you know what I think about them as I read them, of course. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. That might help me to figure out which books out of these I should prioritize if you have good things to say about them. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more anime-related videos and book-related videos. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, those links will be in the description box. I upload every Tuesday and Saturday, and I'll be back really soon. Bye!